Hello and welcome to episode 21 of the Joey Moments podcast.
21, damn.
My name is Joey. I have Joey Moments, and I'm joined by Tarek for the second time. Don't get too used to not seeing him because I'm sure you'll see him again soon.
He likes to have me on. I'm a content machine.
And the dad of the lads, Tarry. How are you doing, Tarry?
I'm doing great. Great. Yeah? Appreciate for letting me be part of this.
No, of course. It's so much fun. This is the last day I'm here. You guys are here for an extra day.
Yeah. So, I mean, have you explained where we are right now?
Yeah, so we are in the Ozarks. I guess in my head, we filmed another one of these that you'll probably see way later. We're in the Ozarks. We came down for Veterans Day just to have a chill, relaxing weekend.
Yeah.
Which turned into, over 100 beers drank in 2 days?
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, what was it? It was first day we got here, I think we had a total of, I think it was 75, 70?
Between 70 and 75.
There were 6 people. Still impressive numbers, but it was still 6 people.
I don't know if you guys want to be proud of that.
I'm not.
It was, it was a weekend.
You would keep that to you guys. Yeah,
and you're out here hunting.
Yeah.
And you got a doe on Friday.
Yeah. It was pretty intense. The first day I got here. Hanging out, a whole bunch of bucks and does running around. I was pretty optimistic on the first day. Didn't get nothing on the first day. And when did I get up here? Yeah, actually I got up here on Tuesday night. So yeah, Wednesday morning was good. Nothing. Did shoot at some, but my aim was off or either my sights were off. That was Wednesday. Thursday I did the same thing. Shot at a couple. Nothing. And I was wondering if because I did shoot at some of the deers, but I was wondering why I'm missing them. So I came up here. And
it can't be me.
It can't be me.
Yeah, so my father, whose place we're staying at right now, he said, "Hey, why don't you just shoot at some targets and see where your arrow's going?" And so I shot at a couple targets, and my sights were off at 10, 20, and 30 yards.
I feel like that happens to you every year, though. Every year you come down, it's always like, I was so close to getting the deer, but my sights were off.
Yeah,
well, you'd be surprised. It's like you leave it sitting there, and then you come back to it a year later, and you're like, I haven't touched it. My sight should still be zeroed in. Nope, they're not zeroed in anymore.
Yeah.
And it happens every time we go with our rifles when we go out. Like when we go to the shooting range, because that's really all we do. It's like, we haven't shot this in a year. Oh, got to zero in again.
Yeah, it's crazy, but that's the stuff that TV don't show. Yeah, if you ever watch those hunting shows.
Yeah,
and they're like sitting in the tree, and they got the perfect kill, perfect sight. They don't show everything they have to go through to get that, and that's what I liked. That's like what I liked this part about, because you ain't gonna know everything right away at the beginning. You have to keep doing it over and over and over. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, in those shows though too, like, they just show you getting kill after kill after kill.
Like it's easy.
And it's like they're just doing it easily, but like what they don't show is like them sitting there for 10 hours in a freaking deer stand.
Yeah, exactly.
Just waiting for the perfect shot, and then they do that over multiple days, because like these guys will be like, they'll get like 3 or 4 in a day, but realistically, it's actually like 5 days they were out there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the part that people don't understand. And that's the part I like. And then the other part of it. So then you guys showed up on Thursday, and you guys were hanging out, and I went back down to the stand, and I actually shot one, and I hit it. And then I believe, and when I first shot it, I was like, because I saw my arrow, and it was stuck in the ground. I was like, oh, here we go again. Right. And then, so I waited a little while, but that was a pretty active night too, because then, while I was waiting, that's what they say you got to do. Once you hit a deer, you just don't want to go after it right away. You want to hang out, because let it bleed out or whatever. Because you don't want to spook it if you sneak up on it. And then they run farther away. So I was waiting, and then I heard something else running through the woods, and a buck came out. I was like, holy cow, if I get 2 in one day, because like you said, I always you feel like I don't ever get anything. Man, if I had two 2 in one day, that would have been awesome. So yeah, but I did shoot at it. It was a quick one. It was on the run. I think I missed it. I'm pretty sure I missed it. But it was pretty intense. I was like, wow. Then that's when I
you were close though. You were close with that. I mean, we got one.
Yeah,
we got one.
Yeah, then I called you guys, and you guys came down and saw what I got. Yeah, and it was a nice one.
Yeah, stumbling
and then the best
there
part was you guys got to see how to field dress one.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've seen one before. That was the first time Jake had ever seen one getting field dressed, because he was like, oh yeah, I could do this. I want to be a paramedic anyway. And then he saw it. He was, well, that's kind of gross. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I won't lie. I won't get that sound out of my head though. Like if it just like hitting the ground, like
all the guts, everything.
Yeah.
Ugh. It was funny. I came out. My dad was like, you gotta stick your hands in there, and I put those big ass gloves on.
No, the funniest part that I thought about that whole situation was, I bring down the tractor. We lift it up on the tractor, like the bucket. And Opa comes down and he's like, all right, you gotta dress it? And he goes, yep. And so my dad pulls out these giant gloves and he goes, you putting on cowbirth gloves? Like you gotta reach in there. And he goes, and Dad's like, fuck yeah, I am. It's gross. And so he cuts it open and everything like that. And he starts getting in there and he's doing it. And I see Opa on the side. He goes, no, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. And Dad's like, what do you mean I'm doing it wrong? I'm in here. And he goes, it's not going. And he goes, trust me on this. You just got to cut it. And it got to the point where my Opa was like, give me the fucking gloves. It's like one of those things where like, you're a little kid and your dad's like telling you to hold the flashlight for you for the car or something like that, and you're not putting it at the right spot. You're like, Dad, I'm trying. And you're like, give me the flashlight. That's what that was.
You could have sit still. He has that ADHD. Yeah. He can't sit still.
He wanted to get in there.
He just wants to do it.
Yeah.
All right, go do it.
Go do it. Just go do it.
And then he took on the condom gloves.
That's what he called them.
You want to use it now, huh? Yeah, get your hands up in there. Give me gloves. Like, I thought you were going to do it barehanded, huh, Mr. Macho Man?
Oh, yeah.
That's so funny. But yeah, no, so we've talked about the Ozarks a lot this year on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And this is it. This is the patio. I don't think we've ever explicitly talked about this. Normally the places that you've probably heard us talk about are the bed I threw up in.
Yeah.
And then outside where everyone else throws
and the
up.
Sheets. Did you burn?
And the sheets. We burned everything.
The whole bed's gone.
The whole bed frame,
the whole thing
mattress,
out.
pillows.
You guys came out and said,
sheets.
Hey, can we wash this? I was like, fuck no. I
don't know.
What is this? I'm like, burn it, man. It was bad.
I don't know. No, I don't even think I said wash it. I think someone brought it up into the washroom.
Yeah.
They brought it up there. I saw it. I'm like, I do not want to make Opa wash this at all.
No, I didn't remember.
So I went down to Joey and he's like hungover, like he's like barely holding on and stuff. I'm like, it's like 10 in the morning or whatever. I'm like, Joey, get your ass up. You're throwing that shit in the fire. And we had like a ceremonial like burning.
It was like watching fucking like I was getting walked through the town square just being shamed.
Shame.
Like as we got it to the fire and the fire was dead. Like it was just still embers. And we threw it's Opa.
Oh, it's Opa, okay.
We throw the sheets into the fire and you could tell the second that the alcohol infused vomit touched the fire because the sheets just lit up.
It was a black demon, just like
the fact
smoke demon coming out. I swear you could see a face in the fire, and it was just Joey's stomach.
The fact that it lit up that fast horrifies me because just think about how much alcohol was in my stomach.
Oh yeah,
you were bragging about it.
I was bragging. I'm not going to say the exact number here, but yeah, I was bragging about it. Yeah, we had a breathalyzer and
bring your mic a little closer, Dad.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
And so. Yeah, it was a night because Eric goes, you can't hit that, which is the wrong thing to tell me when I'm drunk already.
No, it wasn't that you shouldn't hit that.
Yes, and that's the word that he should have used. He goes, Joey, you shouldn't do this. Instead, he said, Joey, you can't do this. And so, in my dumbass drunk mind, I went, well, I've just been challenged, so I'm going to hit this now.
Oh, yeah.
And we hit it. I got there very efficiently.
You fell asleep in the grass.
And you should have left me there.
I should have left you there. Everyone in the basement was like, you should have left his ass out there.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta let him get eaten up by mosquitoes and ticks and stuff like that.
I was so drunk the mosquitoes and ticks would have just died.
Would have been bad.
They would have gotten alcohol.
They would have
poisoning.
got the mosquitoes would have got alcohol poisoning.
They would
They
have
probably didn't want to
died.
even jump on you.
No,
They're like, screw this.
the ticks probably would have been like, open bar.
Open bar. So it was just radiating heat.
Dude, it was terrible. That was easily the worst night I've ever had out here. Because I don't think I've had a bad experience otherwise.
No, was that the first time you've ever gotten sick out here?
That's the only time I've gotten sick out
Really?
here. Yeah,
Okay.
it was just that, and that was just because of how much I had to drink, and I'm not.
Yeah.
It would take us 5 minutes to go through everything I drank that night.
Oh yeah. But no, I mean this patio. This is where most people come hang out at like up till 4 a.m.
Yep. Yeah.
Just-
We'll have the music going down, down on the gravel, and then
Yeah.
we'll have the hookah up here. Everyone's just chilling, kind of just come and go, and then
Yep.
it's really relaxing. But it's definitely,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
lot of fun.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
the-
It's so relaxing that you sit in that chair where you're at and you fall asleep.
Mhm.
No, this is a story that I did. I was sitting up here just relaxing one night, watching all the activities going on, and
Mhm.
I don't know, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and I knew the clouds were coming in. I was like, all right, it's just comfortable, and I'm sitting where you're sitting at, and I put my head back. Next thing you know, I'm out sleeping. The only thing that woke me up was the rain.
No, I remember walking back up because I remember seeing you and Javi.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
guys were talking all night, and there were a couple of us here. And then I remember I went down to go tend to the fire. I come up, you guys are passed out like conks, and then it started raining on you guys, and you didn't wake up for like a solid 10 minutes. And I'm like, you guys should go
No,
in.
it felt good. It was nice.
Sometimes just sitting in the rain's nice. That happened to me.
Quite a bit, huh?
No, that happened a couple months ago. I think it was summertime. It was probably like July. And I went out. I'd gotten off work and I did some day drinking because it was a Friday night.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any plans, so I just sat on the porch and I was just drinking. And then it started raining. I put my hood up and I just I sat against the door, like the
Yeah.
glass door. And yeah, I was just chilling. I had my AirPods in, listening to music, and
So
Z woke me up when he got home.
yeah.
And he was like, tap on the door, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm actually curious about this part too. Since we're in the Ozarks, might as well talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Dad, what was your perspective on like the first year that I was like, I want to come down here and do this, and like with all the guys and stuff like that? What was your perspective? What did you think of all of that?
No, I was all for it. My perspective is
Yeah.
like, I think you guys, as a group of friends, to get away from where you're at and just be yourselves. That's
Yeah.
what you come down here for. That's what my perspective is. I was hoping that you'll just come down here and you learn about yourself a little bit more. Because you things you can get in trouble for, I guess. That you would think you would get in trouble for it. At least you get it out here, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, hey, you can actually go and say, when you get back and be in a situation, you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's not probably a cool situation I need to be
Yeah.
in. But most of it is just be out here, relax, and don't look at the clock.
Yeah.
No clocks. You
The
just
clock,
kind of,
the clock doesn't exist. You're just here.
yeah, you're just here, and whatever.
I'm honestly surprised that Opa has let as many people come down.
yeah,
every
they
year
just got
and stuff
bigger and
like
bigger each year. I thought.
Oh yeah,
Oh, for sure. I mean, it started the first year you guys came down was 8.
people.
I came down year 3, and that was already
You're at
over 20 people. I think
year 3 would have been at like 15 or 16. I
Yeah.
think.
it was a relatively smaller group.
Yeah, it wasn't huge, but
The big thing I want to add too, as well, is because you guys have to do it on your own. I came down and kind of just chaperone, just watch, but you guys wanted to get jet skis. You go get it instead of putting the ownership on the parents.
Mm-hmm.
I forced you guys to go and do it yourself, so you guys know that hey,
Yeah.
this doesn't happen automatically. Somebody has to put their name down. Someone has to put money down. Someone has to be
Yep.
responsible for it. It's not always going to be your parents.
yeah,
That's
Yep.
the biggest thing I wanted you guys to learn every time you come down here too, as well. Like, oh yeah, this is all great, but if you want to do extracurricular activities, you got to do it, not the parents. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like you rent the
Yeah.
boat,
for
and then
sure.
hey, you got to go online and do.
I
the
mean
boating.
that's become very apparent because the first year we came down here, we were 18,
Yeah,
and I'm 24 now,
yeah,
which
and it's so much easier. And you could have been like 24, trying to still learn how to do it.
yeah,
So you learned it at 18.
yeah.
Yep.
Most people don't know how to do all that stuff. That's the thing.
But I mean,
want
you and
guys
Austin got your boating licenses because of it.
Yeah, we got our boating license right before it, and because we need someone to drive the boat.
Yeah, and the boats are so much fun. I miss doing that, but now we have just too many people.
We have too many people. It's not.
I think
not worth it.
I think the only way you make it worth it is if the people who want to do it chip in their own money and they go do it separately.
But the problem is, like, even with like the people that want to do it, usually there's more people that want to do it that don't want to do it. So it's like you're gonna have to get 2 boats regardless.
Yeah. Which
and the other part is like, I'm starting to figure you guys out a little bit. If you guys did do the boating, you guys gonna go to try to hit all those little bars that are on the lake.
Yeah,
like stay in there for an hour, have a drink, get on the boat. Well, of course, have somebody DD it or whatever. But I can see you guys going, just take a whole day.
Yeah.
And just go to bar to bar to bar.
That would be fun.
No, I can see that. I can see that happening. Like what you guys did last time, you guys couldn't do that. You guys like, you go.
Last time we got the boats, we still had a decent chunk of the group that wasn't 21.
Yeah. See, that's the hard part. You go up there, then you're just getting food. You're gonna drink.
Which is what we did. We stopped at Margaritaville.
We stopped at Margaritaville.
Fuck Margaritaville.
With the boat?
God.
Yeah.
You guys drove all the way up there?
Well, remember when we rented it, it was like 20 minutes away. Remember the the place we rented from?
Yeah.
The
was
marina?
It Main Channel?
Yeah.
Holy cow. It wasn't still long. How long of a boat ride? Was it pontoon?
Yeah, it was pontoon. It was like maybe 30 minutes. It wasn't far.
Well, it was 30 minutes because we were just killing the
Well, we were just kind of Austin and them, they were just cruising.
They were cruising, and then they talked shit that we.
Yeah.
What kind of boats they had then?
They were just pontoons.
All they have is pontoons. They have like kind of a speedboat.
I think they do have a speedboat, but we only wanted pontoons. But they gave us a deal since we were like, they usually don't rent for 4 hours on Saturdays or something like that. But since we were buying 2 together, they were like, okay, we'll let you do it. I'm like, okay, cool.
Because they wanted you to have a higher minimum, right? Like a higher base hour.
They wanted 8 hours.
8 hours. You know, and honestly, I think 4 hours is a good time. I personally really enjoy going out on the lake. I like lake days where you're just out on the lake all day. If we did that, I'd enjoy it, but I know that not everyone would.
Yeah, the problem with it is like you have certain people in this group that I think would get tired of the boat really quickly. Like, I mean, like 4 hours, you're like, okay. And like when you're under the sun and stuff like that. See, it might be a little different if we do what you were saying and we just go like bar to bar on the lake and stuff.
And we
get
keep having little breaks.
Yeah, little breaks.
Yeah.
But like
8 hours continuous?
8 hours, because like usually what we do is we're on the boat for 4 hours. But it's kind of the same thing with like a party bus. You know, I'm paying for the boat. I'm paying for the party bus. I want to be on the bus or the party bus or the boat. You know what I mean? And so it's kind of like, that's my perspective on it is like, I'm already paying $400 for this thing. I want to get the most use out of it. I mean, I know everyone gave us shit for going to get food or something like that.
We were so hungry. We also
hungry.
got on the boats later than we normally do.
It was also dude, I wanted to get off so bad because I mean, like I was driving, but it was the water was so choppy because there were so many people out.
Yeah, that's
and I'm like everyone else, you know, they're chilling, relaxing, having a good time. I'm having to like cut in between boats and lakes and stuff like that. And I was exhausted. I was like, I'm ready to be off the boat. This is miserable. Because you just have to dodge and stuff like that. And if you don't know what you're doing.
Like right now, it's the perfect time right now, fall, but
it'd be cold.
Spring, but there's nobody on the lake though.
Yeah.
If you don't want to jump in it.
Yeah, if you don't want to get in the water, I get what he's saying. Just if you just wanted to go on the boat. Even the
wind would be cold too.
Well, you get a jacket, windbreaker, you know. I think it'd probably be nice. I'm sure there's some decent fishing to be done.
Oh yeah.
This time of year, but
always.
I could see that.
I would also be fine. I think my uncle had expressed the interest of doing this was getting a couple people to go fishing on the lake, like actually getting further away.
Like rent a little like kayak type thing.
Instead of fishing off the dock, which I mean, granted, fishing off the dock's really nice for when we're here, but he's like, I kind of want to just go fishing.
No, I
like
agree.
Go real early in the morning.
If you get a couple people to rent a boat and something like that, you should absolutely do that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun. He also wanted to do jet skis. my uncle really loves the jet skis, and we did that.
They're fun.
Was it the last year that we did the boats? We did the jet skis, or was it the second to last year?
So that was the second to last year. Austin got a jet ski.
Yep.
Because we had one boat and one jet ski.
Yep, that's right. Because that's when he threw my ass way into the air. Because he did the thing where he whipped it.
That's the thing. Like you have to go somewhere and rent everything. You like there's only so many times like, hey, I'm gonna just go out and buy a jet ski,
Mhm.
or buy a boat. But you got to maintain it. You got to pay taxes on it. You got to do all that.
You
stuff
don't get
too.
your worth.
Yeah, you
not,
don't get
not
it.
unless you live on the water.
Yeah.
If you lived on the water,
Like,
and
if you were here, you could probably get your worth. But like where we are, Nebraska,
Right.
absolutely not. You're not gonna get your worth.
Right,
No,
because
absolutely
around
not.
here, that's the thing is you have to like drive somewhere to rent it, and it's like, dude, I just want to just wake up in the morning and go.
yeah,
I mean, there's work to it. Like, you want to go in the middle of the lake and go fishing, but there's work. You have
Mhm.
to like, so all the work, and you're like, all right, I'm done. I don't want to go fish anymore. I'm too tired.
By the time you get it all set up, ready to go, you're like, fuck this. What am I doing? I could have done anything else.
And then you start thinking about, hey, got to bring it back, unpack it. You're like, fuck.
Yep. All that
I just want to grab a beer and drink.
all that for getting no fish.
Yeah,
For that.
yeah.
You caught nothing that day.
You're like,
You are just sitting there like, motherfucker, what did I do for?
with the boat? You're like, dang.
It's the fucking pole's fault. That's what
Yep,
it is. It's the pole. It's not you.
The line.
The line snapped.
Oh man,
That's
that's
funny. I come down here. I don't get any deer. I don't get any fish. What the frick? I that's why I tell Kristen I come down here that I'm going hunting and fishing, but I don't do none of it. I don't get anything.
it happens.
But it's always funny though, because like as soon as you walk up, then you start seeing them all come out and like poke their head.
Yeah.
They're like,
Oh,
he
my
got
God.
it. He's left. He's
left,
off.
yeah.
That's
It's
how it was
like
last night.
You're Snow White.
You just notice I'll walk and then I'll stop and turn around fast. And say, what's going
When
on?
me and Z got back from Bass Hole yesterday, there was a deer up here at the end of the gravel path.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, where like ahead of where we normally put tents.
Yeah.
Like that deer was just up here doing whatever the fuck. It was like, he's gone.
That's so
I'm here now.
It's crazy how it's like you could be sitting there all day and then you sit here and they're like right there. You're like, why did you come out? Where have you been all day?
They just knew you were gone. They knew that none of us were going to scramble for the bow.
Yeah. You can pull it back.
I could pull it back. I've done it a couple times.
I
need a little
like
sugar
crossbows. Crossbows are a lot of fun.
We have one
They're
here.
a lot
fun.
more accurate.
They're a lot of fun.
A lot less noise. The big thing with deer hunting, I know we're getting back on this again, but deer hunting is with a bow, not of the gun, but with a bow is patience, and you really your movement is a lot slower. You can actually it's more a little bit. It's a lot forgiving if you know how to move. Like if he's eating, there's techniques. But you got to get it pretty close. Whereas a gun, you can shoot 100 yards out, but deer 20, 30 yards. Yeah, and then you have to sit there and maybe hold the bow until he gets it into a certain profile. Then you shoot
It's a little bit more. I think there's a little bit more physicality to bow hunting. Yeah, absolutely.
Also hitting it in the right spot too.
Yeah. I've been doing this since 2012, 13.
I've known you bow hunting as long as I've been alive.
Yeah, and I only had out of all those years, like it's already 15 years. Let's just say 12 years. 4 deer. I got 4 deer with my bow.
That's okay. Me and my grandfather went hunting, and first time we went hunting, we sat out there for, God, the whole fucking day, and we didn't even see a deer. We get to the point, and he's like, "Well, we got to unload the rifles. Look through your scope. Look at that tree. There's just a poor squirrel. Fucking pink mist." And I was like, "Oh my God," because he's using a hunting rifle for a deer. He's using like a 30-06. The squirrel didn't stand a chance.
No.
The squirrel, that was like that'd be like if I threw like a mortar shell right at you.
Oh jeez.
That's funny.
But things I did want to ask you though, since we have you on the podcast this week, parenting. We talked with Chris's dad.
Okay.
We talked with Chris's dad about some of this stuff. Because we were interested, because it's a different perspective. Like Chris and Jake are parents, but they're going through it.
Yeah.
They're very much like the early part of it. You've gone through, you now have 3 out of high school, 1 out of college, 1 in college, and now 1 getting ready to graduate. What has parenting been like? Like any big challenges that you had parenting? I mean, obviously it's all challenges.
It was all. That's a good question, but it's broad. I think it's stages, like certain stages when they're little. A lot of more attention. You ain't gonna be your time management's gonna change. Because the kids are around, so you have to like especially so if they're not in school yet, like they're just little kids not in school yet. You can do a little bit more things with them. But yeah, it's hard, man. There's just stages. You have to.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. Some time management. Sometimes you have some times to yourself. Sometimes you don't. That was the biggest thing. Is like you have to adjust to not your needs, but your kids' needs and your wife's needs and your family needs. Some days are good and some days are bad. But you have to go with it. Just
keep going.
Just keep going.
Just
yeah.
keep going.
I really don't think like a lot of people don't. A lot of people think about that. Like raising kids, it's tough. It is tough. But if you don't let it get to you, just know it's the norm. It's normal to.
If you don't have me as a kid, it's a lot easier too. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm an asshole, so.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, we butt heads a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
We got a whole wrestling
matches.
matches.
That's probably good. Yeah, good. That's a good point. Like, who are your kids gonna be? Who do you want them to grow up to be? Do you want like I'm a big physical guy. Not big in senses. I'm a physical. Like I like sports, and I was big in wrestling, football, anything that was contact sports. I watch TV. You're like, oh, this is what I want my kid to like grow up. I want them to emulate me a little bit. And then you got your mom's side. She wants to emulate you. So you're like, you got to introduce all this to him and see which way he goes. So you got introduced a lot to like some of the stuff that I want you to understand that the good and the bad with everything. And I want you to grow up a certain way. But then as a parent, you just got to think like you're gonna learn yourself.
Yeah,
you have to form your own opinions and stuff. You can like
you guys put me in like every sport imaginable,
Yep.
And I did quite a bit of mainly the contact sports. I mean, those were the ones I enjoyed more. I would say was like football, wrestling, and stuff. But like when I got to high school, I didn't really want to do those sports anymore because I wasn't like a fan of like the community around it. Like it was more I enjoyed the sport itself, but I didn't like the people necessarily and like the hierarchy and stuff. But then I found rugby myself, and like the sport that I find like that I was like, I want to do this. That ended up being like my favorite sport. Yeah. And it's still like that physical, like super high octane game, and it was just like, I don't know. I latched on to that because it was something I chose for myself.
Yeah.
So it's like you guys set like the blueprint and gave me the skills that I needed to decide something like that for myself. You know what I mean? So that I didn't just go into rugby and get my shit kicked in.
Yeah.
But I already had like 8 years of wrestling and 7 years of football behind me, Yeah. That was like, once I went into rugby, it was like, oh, I just take this piece from here and this piece from here and I put it right here. And I was good. I mean, I did get my shit kicked in freshman year because I was tiny, but like sophomore year, I was good. I was starting.
Yeah. And you're gonna learn. And that's the other thing. There's no book written to raise a kid. You're writing your own book, and just know that he's a kid. He's compassionate. He can think for his own. But you just mold him. Like there was a lot of things that Tarek you learned. We didn't have to teach the other kids because you already learned. You're like, well, this is the way I shouldn't have raised you or did. I always go, man, I should have done it differently with you.
You're the lab rat.
I was the lab rat. Yeah.
It is. It's weird. It's like the.
Logan's on easy mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other kids didn't get what you get because it's like I was learning. I was like, man, I shouldn't have done that, or man, I should have done that.
Yeah.
But then it comes along. Like the best part I learned is just list. Like you're gonna hear this a lot from me, but listening. I like our dinners when we have dinners.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't once or twice or 3 times a week have a family gathering of either eating or game night or watching the TV. I would say more just talking, not with like TV, something where you're going to interact with each other. And when you guys interact with each other, especially when he's talking, because there's so many opinions out there. Just know when you go into a talk, like you let them talk, but don't have them don't judge what they're saying. They're just talking. And so basically you listen, whether you agree with them or not, you gotta just let them talk. And then when it's your turn, you just like, and don't interrupt them too as well. There's a lot of times like we've been getting really a lot better at our dinners.
Yeah.
I think that helps a lot.
I was gonna say
communicating with the family,
like definitely like with
or raising
our family, like when I was younger, I hated that you guys forced us to have family dinner all the time because I would see like my friends, you know, they'd be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go grab dinner real quick, and then they'll come back up with a plate and then just keep gaming and stuff like that. I'm like, well, I don't, and I was like, man, I just want to do that. And I would ask mom, and she'd be like, fuck no, you're gonna sit your ass down. And I'm like, okay, but you know, as I got older and stuff like that, like, I mean, I'm glad that we did because, you know, we're close now. Like you
get to know each other.
Our family dinners are fun.
Yeah,
like we actually because it's not like our family dinners are a little different from other people's because you know, like when you think of like a family dinner, it's like sit down, just eat whatever, and ours is literally just like the most random fucking opinions and rabbit holes will go down, and then it'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about? And it'll be like, I don't know, or like, are you stupid? Like, we're just yelling at each other. It's like, I don't know, but it's fun. Like, bringing like Emily into our family dinners, like, she was like, this is a little chaotic, you know? Like, I don't think she was ready, because like, her family dinners, they're very quiet. They don't really talk to each other. I went to family dinner with her one time. I'm like, I was like, yeah. Like, I went to family dinner with her one time, and it was very quiet, and I was uncomfortable. I was like, because everyone was like eating their food, and like it would be like a couple words here, a couple words there. I'm like, I felt like I had to talk for them because I was nervous. I didn't know what the fuck to do and everything. And then I was like, okay, now you come see my family, and we're like, fuck you. Like,
especially when we go out to a restaurant too. That's the
we're the loudest in restaurants.
They put us in the middle of the restaurant. That's the mistake. They put us in the corner.
If they know us before, they're putting us in the back corner.
Yeah, corner or in the private room.
That's so funny.
Because we don't even get the waitresses or the waiters. They just get into it like, you guys are just. Wow, you guys
well, God forbid Jid does there.
I wish I can hang out with you guys.
God. Yeah, God forbid Jid does there.
Oh, God, yeah. But no, people servers come up and says, man, you just brighten my day because the way you guys talk like that, and you guys still get along.
Yeah, and then mom's like, guys, you gotta be quiet, be quiet. And then we'll say something that like makes her mad. What are you talking about? Like, she'll get loud too. We'll go back and forth.
Oh, that's so funny.
Communicating is huge, man. Raising kids. There's no book for it. I know that's a tough question. It's not really tough. It's just there's really multiple answers to that question.
Sure.
As a parent.
And then now you have 3 adult children, about to have 4. How has that been? Is it like the relationship changed? Like, I guess Tarek's probably the easiest example because you're the oldest.
Yeah.
How has that dynamic changed being
from like
with him as an adult? Yeah, you're no longer, raising him at home, trying to show him the world and everything. Now that he's his own person. Yeah, I mean, he's still kind of a schmuck, but
no, the big thing I like when he calls and he asks for my opinions. That's the biggest thing. I think he does. You guys, they start trying things on their own before they just run to mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
So now, but when they do run to mom and dad, they have that call. He's like, oh yeah, maybe I can help you with something. Just like like with Brayden just changing out was it Brayden or Logan's car? Which he's the younger one, but just change out his light is like one of his car lights. So, hey, my back light's out. How much do you think he's going to, instead of taking it into the mechanic and fix it, let me just look at it. It was a $5 piece and replaced it within 10 minutes. Yeah. That's for them experience on their own. And then big thing is you guys live so close right now. Just if you live somewhere like overseas, like it's really hard access to your mom and dad. That would be a challenge, I think. That would be something for you to, for any of the kids to say, hey, or even just go to California, and just live on your own, and like you went out. Right?
I lived in Florida, for a year,
and then you couldn't run to mom and dad or your parents or
no. I would call them pretty regularly, but if I had like an issue, it was a game of I had to figure it out. And luckily, we live in the era of the internet, so all of that information is at my fingertip. But it was sometimes an issue of, well, I found a solution on the internet, and this is. It takes me forever and I finish it. And then I'd call my uncle who raised me and I'd be explaining what I did. And he goes, oh, you're a fucking idiot. Why didn't you do it this way? This would have taken you 5 minutes instead of it taking you an hour. And I'm just like, well, I didn't know that. And he's like, well, had you called me, I would have told you. Because we did that when we moved into our first apartment. And I'm just like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. The other thing is, here's another thing. I'm stay on that topic, not that topic, but what's changes. Like they're all over 21. I mean, it wasn't legal age 19. Like I can't see his medical records. He's got to take care. They got to take care of themselves, right? So that's the biggest thing. Is like when they come ask for questions, like just with the job benefits, you know, what should I pick? You guys don't get taught that in school.
No,
You know,
nobody
talking
goes
about
over benefits packages with you.
Yeah, healthcare, like which one dental, all this stuff. I mean, some people can make it by without it.
You're gonna be a parent your whole life.
Yeah.
No one's ever gonna change that, you know what I mean? Like, and because I mean, thing is like, I mean, just from the stance of like you literally living longer than me and being here longer is that you have experienced so many more things than me that like, you know, I have like when I'm a kid, you know, I'll cry because I can't get my shoes tied, you know, and you'll come help me tie my shoes. When I'm an adult, I'll cry because I can't figure out why I'm paying $1,000 on my taxes. And I need your help figuring that out.
Like, did you pay him?
Did you pay him? Like, you know what I mean?
That has sucked recently. I've had that conversation the last 3 years with my uncle going, why do I owe taxes every year now? I'm so confused. I've only ever gotten money back. And he's like, well,
it's just like you're always somebody's kid, and you're always going to grow up in the sense of like just having new adult problems to deal with, you know?
And that's like, this is my dad's place right here. And that's the one thing I like coming out. I even go to I'm like 53 years old now, and I still have questions. Like, I just went into his garage, and he just took a carburetor together, you know, just took some kind of carburetor off. I'm like, what the hell is that? And he goes, oh yeah, I'll just a $25 part. I'm like, are you just gonna get that and replace it? That's all you have to do. I would have trashed it. But no, I go run to him and ask him questions all the time. There's many times. I don't know if he knows that I do that, but I watch him, and sometimes I just just building a shed, like the greenhouse that he has here, and he goes, he just did it with scraps. Like, oh, okay, that's pretty neat.
No, well, that's the nicest part out here is just there's so much. You can tell that there is so much passion put into this property.
Yeah,
that it is someone's, you know, not just their home, but it's their retirement. They're enjoying life. They're doing everything they want to do, and I think that rubs off when you come down here to vacation. Like when we come down in the summer, and then
it also shows you guys like what you guys are going to lead up to. Maybe once you want.
Oh yeah,
like, at least you got the exposure. Maybe I do like this. Maybe I don't like it. At least you got the exposure. That's the other part of that too.
Yeah, me and Z were talking about that after Val's. I was like, I could, or it was either after Val's. No, I think it might have been on the way to Basel. And I was like, I could retire like this.
Oh yeah.
I said, you know, and I was like, you know, maybe this or like the mountains, but have a nice big plot of land, have, you know, my house, have, you know, a place for my family to come stay, have a place for me to do the shit I want to do. And, you know, God, hopefully we're at the spot when we all retire that we have a place like this where our kids can bring their kids.
Bring their kids and stuff like that, or like their friends.
I would, that was, I think, I don't remember who I was talking with. It was someone in the group, and I was like, I can't wait to have kids. And I was like, and I hope that, you know, we have kids that are all around the same age, because I would love, even if my friend or if my kids have their own group of friends, I'd like them to see the way we act around each other and go, I want that. And for them to find the people that they can trust, and they have that same relationship the way we have the lads, which is such a unique group of people.
I mean, it's funny because, like, I mean, we're all gonna have kids, and like it's literally like a second like family outside of like a regular family. So it's like when we have kids, they're just gonna be cousins.
Yeah,
it's gonna be arranged. There's gonna be cousins.
We've essentially built another family. It's like, a family that we've picked.
It's like. It's like, Dad, why are you so close with this person? And the amount of lore that I'm about to drop on this kid.
It's like sit down. We have about 9 seasons worth of
2 drinks.
How I Met Your Lads.
Yeah, 10 years old. I pour you a glass of whiskey because you're gonna need it.
Here's some Johnny Walker.
Here's some Johnny.
just sit down, relax, and we'll explain it. And it's crazy because you have some people like you and Nathan have known each other since kindergarten.
Yep.
Eric, John, and Dylan have known each other since preschool.
Yep.
And like the thing about how long that is, like you and Nathan are going on 20 years of knowing each other.
Yep.
Like that's a diabolical thing to say.
Yeah.
Because when, you know, you're thinking about that in high school, you're not thinking of 20 years at all. 20 years ago was, you know, for us was the 90s. Yeah. We're in high school, and, you know, we're talking like, oh, that was before our time, you know, and now we're going 20 years ago, and that was elementary school.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
That's going back to that parent question too, as well. Like, I like the way you guys talking. I just start popping in my head. Some of that stuff is The other part of that raising kids, like, where are you going to send your kids to school? Like, that's a big part. Like, if it was for me, if it wasn't for your mom to like our Kristen to find a place to live, like I would like live in a little single house, make do with things that I have. But Kristen did a really good job. That it takes two to raise a kid, and then picking your schools, what community you're gonna live in, how you want to raise your kids. You guys don't see that as kids.
No.
We as a parent, you see it all the time. You like, some parents will say, like, I would if I was a single parent, you would have probably grew up differently.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think so that's a big part of it too, is like having your spouse or your significant other to be there too as well and balance each other out. There's times where I'm like, I don't agree with it, but I'm like, well, no, it does make sense. After I see it, it's like, oh, that makes sense now. The way kids are being brought up too as well. So I don't know. I don't know if that. I don't know. I just thinking about that.
No, I mean, I know what you're saying. That makes
it.
sense. I mean, it's one of those things like, I mean, for us specifically, I mean, you kind of had to rely on mom to do a lot of that stuff because you're overseas all the time.
Yeah, deployed, yep.
And so for me, like, I mean, like,
and
growing up a lot, it was me, mom, and Brayton for the longest time,
Mom likes the craft stuff, right? She likes
She made it a home.
She always has, she made it a home, correct. She always has pictures. Like, I would never, Tarek, if it was by myself, none of my kids wouldn't have any freaking pictures. Or any birthday cards, forget it.
That's so
she keeps you track. You wouldn't even remember if it was our birthday.
Yeah.
Only reason you remember mine is because the day after yours.
How did you get here?
How'd you get here?
Why are you living in this house? That's part of raising kids, is knowing that stuff, doing that stuff, and someone to remind you. And then you get one, and you get two, and you're like, oh, I got to remember two now.
He's like, wait,
shit, one was hard enough.
He's like, wait, I know Tarek's birthday. When's Brayden? Fuck.
Well, it's okay. Brayden doesn't know any birthday.
He doesn't know when 4th of July is.
No.
We had that one day. What holiday is that?
We went through every holiday, and we were asking him, like, do you know these dates?
Yep.
And whatnot. He's like, absolutely not. He knew Christmas was the 25th, and he knew Christmas Eve because it was the day before, and it was also Avatar's birthday. Avatar being my dog. Actually, we talked about him in the first episode.
We did talk about Avatar.
But
God rest his soul.
His birthday was Christmas Eve, and so Brayden always remembered Christmas Eve.
That's wow.
Yeah. So that's key, man. I think so. I think I know some parents, their single parents are out there. It's tough on them.
That was my mom for the longest time.
Yeah.
I mean, she was fortunate enough to have the support system of her mom before she passed away, and then my aunt and uncle who lived in the same town, so she was able to have her sister help out, and that's how that dynamic started. Now that once we moved to Nebraska, it was even more. I mean, my mom was single for a little bit when we were out here before my stepdad, and then she had my grandfather's second wife, their daughter, who's basically my sister. I don't think I've ever explained that dynamic.
You explained that to me.
That's I
mean on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
TLDR, really long story. Grandfather has so my aunt is only 3 years older than me, and we've just been raised more like brother sister, and that's more the relationship that we have.
I mean, dude, that's how it is with Bree.
Yeah,
Bree's my cousin aunt sister. By
cousin
law.
aunt, yeah,
mom sister, mom sister.
Because she adopted her.
Yeah.
And then she was my cousin, and then she became my aunt because she gave mom's sister, and then and then we adopted her, and so now she's our sister. So.
Yeah,
but we were raised by
a great
sisters.
point, though. That puts another like bullet out of this is family.
Yep.
Yeah, like you said, you depend on your family too. Like I know some folks out there that are single mom, single parent, and live so far away from their families and no family support.
And that was really
crazy.
hard, moving to Florida and not being near family. It was also hard because I didn't have any friends.
Yeah.
Like that was like the other thing. Like I think if, like all the lads had moved somewhere, probably would have been a little bit easier to get by.
Yeah.
But having,
Get them all to go to Colorado, please.
I would love
I'm gonna do
for
it.
the lads. I keep saying I win the lottery. We're building a commune.
We should go
We're
to South
building a lad's
Dakota, Terry's
commune.
Peak. Now, remember
Terry's
that one
Peak,
time?
yeah.
I like
Agreed.
that better than Colorado. Colorado's
Colorado's
nice,
so nice.
Colorado's so nice.
but it's such a long
The
drive.
mountains.
But it's such a long drive. So you're saying South Dakota's shorter?
Yeah, well,
Terry speak, but I'm saying we're saying live.
Yeah, we're saying move.
We're saying
to.
move to.
Oh, move.
Not just visit, just move to.
Get all the
I
lads
don't think you want to
move
live there.
No,
because you're so far from everything else.
At least
Whereas,
Colorado,
like,
you can.
You got like a couple big cities with Colorado.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right. Yeah. What,
And you got
Denver?
internet.
Live in Denver?
I probably wouldn't want to live in Denver. I'd probably
Denver,
want to live
Colorado
in
Springs,
Colorado Springs,
Boulder, Golden, and honestly, any of them. I just love that area so
It's
much.
so nice. That was also huge, dichotomy of moving from New Mexico here is there's mountains everywhere in New Mexico, and then you move here and you're just like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, New Mexico.
Oh, that's a hill. Oh,
It's so flat.
And you drive out of Nebraska at like when you're going, like when we were coming here, and you get to Iowa and there's all the big hills.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh,
look, the mountains.
the Midwest mountains. Give it 15,000 years and there'll be mountains.
Yeah.
So that's just, it's so sad.
Yeah,
but
scenery's so much
no, I
better
get that. I would live in Colorado. I think
The other place I
Colorado.
was thinking, I would live Vermont.
I was thinking of
Vermont would be
Washington.
nice.
a
I'll do
lot.
that.
I like
My-
Washington.
My ultimate would be the Northeast somewhere.
Yeah,
But
that's kind of how I feel.
New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Vermont.
I think
Most-
Vermont is
at least
beautiful.
Everything's got to be 2 hours away. Either I go to the ocean for 2 hours or to the mountains 2 hours. Everything needs to be in that distance. So I have a little taste of everything. I need 4 seasons.
That's, yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I just don't want to
Northeast
be
definitely
hot.
has 4 seasons.
Oh yeah.
Oh
you
yeah,
have-
and
you have
can pick
spring.
it. You know when the 4
Dude,
seasons.
when
are.
I went to Florida, I was like, I think I went at like a decent time one time, and I'm like, yeah, I could live here. I could live here. Then I went during like late August, and I don't think I've sweat more in my entire fucking life.
I want you to just imagine
that
that
was miserable.
August was. I had to like during that time period when I lived there. I was still walking to work every day.
Yeah.
I was walking a mile and a half to work every
Yeah.
day.
Oh,
You'd be
I would bring-
covered in sweat.
I would bring a change of clothes, so I'd have my knapsack with my work clothes, and I'd have my walking clothes.
Yeah.
By the time you get there, I mean, I'd have to bring new socks, everything,
Yeah.
because by the time I have walked a mile and a half, it is just sweat.
I don't know how anybody lives there. Unironically, I don't get
Sadly,
it. Because
depressed.
AC's on
Well, I mean,
24/7.
it's
Oh, yeah.
that, but like, there's some people that just get used to like just the heat.
Oh, you acclimate. yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Because
By the
like,
time,
because when I went down there, like, I think it dropped down to like maybe like 75 at night. They're like, ooh, it's chilly. I'm like, what are you talking about?
no,
this is
like
perfect.
What
It happens.
They
It only
start
really
going
takes
out
like a
later
year.
at night. They instead of going during the day when it's hot, you'll notice things stay open later.
Yeah.
So dinner will start at 7, 8 o'clock at night versus dinner at 5. And then it's just when it starts cooling off, that's when the
Yeah.
activity starts happening.
It's the same thing with like New Orleans for me. Like I would honestly, I love that city. I love the culture. I love everything about that city, except it's so fucking humid and like the what's it called? The hurricanes and stuff like that. I'm like,
yeah,
that
humid, and
doesn't-
then once a year, the all of New Orleans becomes 90
it's
times
a
more
bowl.
expensive.
Yeah, it's just like I would love to live there, but I don't think I could do that. Like I need my 4 seasons. I like the snow.
Yep.
Yeah.
I tried it. I don't want to. This Midwest is good, but if I had choice, it would be Northwest.
I'm a big Pacific.
Northeast.
Northeast.
I'm
Yeah,
a big
sorry.
Pacific Northwest kind of guy. I
Pacific
would love
Northwest
to
is
live in
nice.
Washington, Oregon
That's just
area.
nice.
it's just the Pacific Northwest is just so expensive.
Oh, yeah,
like
no,
it's even more
absolutely.
expensive than the Northeast.
Yep.
Like
It sure is.
Seattle
But-
itself. I mean,
Oh, I wouldn't want to live in Seattle.
God,
I-
but that area is beautiful. Like I looked at Montana as well.
Mhm.
Montana's beautiful, but like when I look at like I went through like a bunch of forums. I'm like, what is it like living in Montana? And they're like, well, we actually have the highest suicide rate of any state.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
Jeez.
because you're just so far away from everybody
Yeah.
else, and like you're secluded, and like the jobs out there aren't good and stuff. I don't know. I've never been to Montana. Well, no, I have. I've been to the corner. Beautiful state. I loved it. I went to Yellowstone. Beautiful state. Loved seeing all of that. I was like in awe the entire time. But thinking about actually living there, like I mean, probably ain't like the show.
Probably not. No.
No.
I've heard a lot of good things about Vermont, though. Vermont's always
Vermont,
been
yeah.
a state that sat in my mind if I were to move.
Because I mean, you got the mountains, and then you drive 2 hours, you can get to the ocean. But then you have, if you're like in Burlington or whatever,
Mhm.
Yeah. then
you got that
the-
giant lake, like that borders Canada. Like was it on Ontario? No, Montreal. Basically,
Yeah.
like right on Montreal.
Yeah, I was.
the lake effect. I got stuck in Burlington. 3 feet of snow. I mean,
Oh, wow.
after our Sugar Bush trip. With,
Oh, yeah.
Bobby G. So me and my brother was coming because we flew into Burlington and then we were
Mhm.
flying out, and it started snowing once we checked in at the airport. And so I'm waiting. Then I saw the sign up says canceled. I'm like, canceled? It's already like a foot of snow outside.
Oh my God.
So we had to find a hotel, and man, yeah, it got up to like three feet of
That's
snow.
crazy.
It was crazy.
Wild.
Yeah, it was snowing hard. Yeah, but yeah, I loved that. I loved it. So I had to cancel, wait, and delay our flight another day or two.
I don't know. I just think like, just, and then you have like the mountains right next to it or whatever. At least you have something to look at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Live somewhere.
I need water. I need more water. Like Nebraska, I've got the rivers, but we need more.
Yeah,
I
think
water.
that I agree. We have the lake. Did you hear in Nebraska there was a big project that was supposed to be happening?
Oh, yeah, the big lake.
They were supposed to make a giant lake in between Omaha and Lincoln, like all along I-80.
Oh my God.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a giant,
Okoboji.
like an Okoboji. They want it to be like an Okoboji.
Gotcha.
But it got axed because they're like, why are we putting our money to dig a giant hole or anything like
Yeah.
that? Like,
Well, also, like, it's not just to do that, but then you have to artificially fill it
yeah.
because there's not enough water off of the Missouri to fill it.
Well, I think their plan was to just try and use the Oglala aquifer.
That would have been such a waste of water.
And that's pretty much what everyone kind of
Yeah.
came to the conclusion of.
That would have been such a waste of water, time, and money. It would have been a cool thing, but I think ultimately you would have probably had to artificially fill it.
Yeah.
Which would have just, again, cost even more money to bring water in, just to dump it in a hole, just for it to evaporate and then have to be artificially filled again.
It would be cool if we had like more attractions and stuff like that, or at least more places.
Well, Omaha's
to go.
getting there. Me and Z talked about that on the drive down here.
Yeah.
Omaha's where Kansas City was in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's building up to be a bigger city, and I think in 20 years, Omaha will be about where Kansas City is right now. They're trying to get pro teams in Omaha.
Yeah, I know. So they're trying to get, like, what is it, the NHL?
They're trying to get an NHL team.
The next team place that there's like two likely more places that are going to get a new team. Omaha was like the number one spot for NHL.
NHL, they're trying to attract an NHL team, an MLB team, and an NFL team.
Yeah.
And NFL were on because the thought process for the NFL right now is that they want to do an 8-team expansion.
Yeah.
They're going to grow the league by 8 more teams, and they have 10 or 12 prospective cities, and Omaha's in the top 8, which if you have 8 teams and you're in the top 8, probably means you're going to get a team, so which is good.
Well,
the only thing is someone would have to invest and start a team, and it would be a whole thing, and the city would have to build a stadium.
The rumor that, like, what was it, that the Chiefs were going to come up to Omaha too?
It's on the list of prospective cities for the Chiefs, since the Chiefs are going to be leaving Missouri, which sucks for Missouri, but the Chiefs will do what it does.
I heard something about
it was
that. Kansas, because Kansas is going to build a stadium for him. On the Kansas side.
So Missouri, it was earlier this year. It was during their like primary season. They had to vote to pass to continue a tax, and they decided they didn't want to do that. They voted against it. Well, that was where all the funding for this to upgrade the stadium and keep the stadium maintained was going to come from. And the Chiefs owner was like, if we don't get this, we're not staying here. It's just that we need to grow. And right now we've grown as much as we can in the area and in this stadium specifically, because this was supposed to be the upgrade to the stadium that gets you to the next stadium. This would have been the last time they invested in Arrowhead. And then after that, you replace Arrowhead, which sucks because Arrowhead's kind of a historic stadium with how long it's been here. But some point you have to. I mean, nobody stays in it's football stadium wise. Nobody stays in a stadium forever. Baseball, it's a little bit different because you have
more like historical ones. You have Fenway.
You have Fenway. You have Wrigley. I think those are the two oldest.
Those are the two big ones.
Because Yankee Stadium got demolished, and that was another old one.
So they ain't gonna go to Kansas.
I think
there's prospective places right now.
They're looking at it. I think a lot of it'll boil down to what city wants to fund a new stadium, because no matter what happens now, you're building a new stadium, which is a lot harder, and you have to figure that out soon, because I want to say their contract with the city ends in 32.
So
I know soon.
The rumors are that they either go to the Kansas side, they go to Omaha, or they go to San Antonio.
San Antonio, I think, would be the worst one.
That's right. I heard San Antonio.
San Antonio was the other big one.
Texas doesn't need a third NFL team.
No, they don't. I mean, they're huge, but also fuck them.
I agree, yeah.
Like, I mean, just like New York doesn't need like 7 teams.
God, New York does not need. It's so terrible.
Although I'm curious though, do you think an NFL team would do well in Omaha?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You think like
Absolutely, without a
I
doubt.
think they will.
I think they would, but I just feel like most people in Nebraska like college sports way more.
Well, I think
Nah,
it also boils down to not having the ability to go to an NFL game without
Yeah.
driving 3 hours.
That's fair.
So, and I mean, that's why there's a lot of Kansas City fans in Omaha. Like, that's my mentality of being a Kansas City Chiefs fan. I'm not like, a Chiefs fan. I like to go to
By
the home game.
location.
And if Kansas City moved to Omaha, you're damn right I'd be going multiple times a year.
Doesn't the Omaha Chiefs just sound better too?
Omaha, it's a lot shorter.
Yeah.
You're shortening it. I think it would be a good place for an NFL team in general. I think an MLB team would do numbers though.
Oh yeah, we already have the College World Series out
Yeah.
here.
We need
Well,
that,
and honestly, I think if they just signed a contract to just play MLB at Charles Schwab Stadium,
Yeah.
which is already big enough for to be an MLB stadium.
Well,
Actually, I don't know. Is the field
didn't the
big enough to
okay?
be?
No, it was I remember. So the Royals were an offshoot of the Kansas City Royals that used to play up at Rosenblatt.
Yeah.
They weren't the actual
No,
Royals.
that was the feeder team before
Yeah.
The Storm Chasers.
Yeah.
So now I don't know what's going to happen with the Storm Chasers because they're getting sold.
Are they?
Yeah, the owner of the Storm Chasers is selling.
Oh,
the
you could
team.
have a pro team play there at Werner.
I don't think the field's big enough.
They're gonna put.
I think they'd have. I think you'd have to. You'd have to add.
I don't know if that's entirely true. Well, I mean,
No,
for
you'd have to-
seating wise, yeah, but
You'd
like,
have to add like tens of thousands of more seats.
yeah,
That stadium's tiny.
yeah.
I think the field wise.
Field
I
wise,
don't
it's
think.
big enough.
Yeah,
It's
'cause they should be
stadium wise,
playing
it's
on
not.
Yeah, because the feeder teams play on MLB size fields.
Yeah.
But it's not like that matters because in the MLB there's not a regulation.
No, there's not.
It
Some have
changes, yeah.
larger. So like you could be on one freaking stadium or whatever, and you could get home run after home run.
Well, it's
but
like
then
Yankee
another-
Stadium.
Yeah, I think it's Yankee
I think it's
Stadium.
the easiest stadium to hit a home run is at Yankee Stadium because it has I want to say the smallest field, which is just to me is asinine. Why are baseball stadiums not regulated?
Also, soccer. Omaha has that soccer team that came in.
We do have the soccer club. Well, that's the same people that own the Storm
Yeah,
Chasers.
they're building.
Oh.
They're building a stadium.
That's why they're selling the Storm Chasers because they want to focus on the soccer club.
Yeah, which
Yep, I remember reading that and I was like, I didn't realize that was the same people. I wish I had that much money to
Yeah.
buy 2 sports teams.
Yeah.
I probably would fund a podcast.
Yeah, you'd fund a podcast. All right.
there
You
go.
wanna
I think-
wrap this
I think
up?
we
We've been
can.
talking for a while
We've
now.
been talking about an hour.
Really?
So we've been
Pretty
talking
good.
about 57 minutes. So I think that's a good place to wrap
Yeah.
it up. Do you guys have any final thoughts? Any bit of Tarry wisdom to pass on?
No, I'd say thank you for letting me be on.
Of course.
It's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys and be able to talk and give you some of my experiences and advice to you guys.
Like I said, I
guess.
appreciate you
There
guys
you go.
being on.
Yeah.
You'll be on.
Yeah.
You'll be on again.
Yep.
And that'll be really fun. We will be back next week for the last episode of the year. I don't think we're going to come back until January because we're building a new set and we talked about it past week. I just don't think I will be putting out content, but I don't think it'll be a full podcast.
Yeah.
I think there'll maybe be bonus episodes, maybe, we'll see, but I don't think we'll come back till January. But
Okay.
I appreciate everyone listening. And
Yep.
We'll see you guys next week.